beautiful muses, and welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot and another Friday insight reading where we are going to get yes, no, maybe answers to questions that you have. Just a quick reminder to phrase your questions so that if you were to get a yes, that would feel like a positive outcome to you. The way that this reading is structured, it's kind of two parts. At first, we are going to look at the energy around your question, just get some insight into some things. And then the second part is where we will get sort of a quick and very clear yes, no, maybe with a little bit of guidance around whatever answer you end up getting. Okay, we've got 4 piles to choose from today. We have a white calcite, we have sort of a pinkish colored Lemurian quartz, we've got smoky quartz, and last but not least, we have amethyst. Okay, so take as long as you need, pause here, tune into these stones, feel into which one is drawing you in for your question. If you have more than one question, feel free to choose different piles for each of those. When you are ready, the timestamps will be in the descriptions and you can jump straight to your pile. All right, I will see you guys in your readings. Hello, beautiful pile 1. Welcome to your yes, no, maybe reading. So before we jump in to this first part of your reading where we're going to get a little bit of insight into the energy around your question, I always love to tap into just like intuitive hits that came as I was preparing things. And for you guys, there was this sense, like it was a really beautiful energy. Things felt very clear and peaceful, and there was kind of like a sureness and a calmness, but at the same time there was like this hurry up and wait element, kind of like, okay, I think I've done all the components that needed attending to. Now what? Do I just wait? It kind of felt like that. Like I feel like I'm prepared. I feel like I've done what I need to do, and now I'm just waiting. And it didn't feel, it didn't feel like that thing of like waiting for something like an acceptance letter. Like you've done all you can and now you're just waiting if you get accepted or not. It's a little different than that, where it's like you have like a little bit more control over the scenario, but there's a timing element here too. So just some general energy I was picking up on. So let's just dive into the cards from here and see what else they add to this. So this week I'm tapping into the water element to give us our insights. And then the answers will come from a much more clear directive sort of deck. Okay, so we have stagnant waters, feeling stuck, a call for shifts, flow, and change. Interesting. At the same time, I just, despite what the card says, like these colors with the plant and stone, like, I don't know, there's just like a lot of beauty still that I'm feeling despite what this says, the stagnancy. I don't think things are as stagnant as they may appear around something around this question or around your energy in general. I think there's a timing element, so kind of enjoy the place where you are, kind of be where you are and take it in with like beauty and wonder and honestly like sometimes no change is a time where we have like space and time to just sort of be present with life. And I feel like that's what the cards are trying to ask you to do, that like I do sense something is coming, like we picked up on in just the intuitive hits, like you're waiting on something. I get the feel that something is coming, so just enjoy this moment that's a little bit stalled. Be present with it and find the beauty in that, because I don't think it's going to stay that way. And then we've got end call, healer, seer, priest or priestess, soul purpose. Oh, so maybe whatever you're asking about, or some energy more below the surface of things, are really connected to wanting to feel more in line with purpose, wanting to know what your purpose is. Some kind of healer or seer gift you may have too. One or the other, or both of those, maybe those two things align. Take whatever feels resonant for you about that. Is there something you're trying to feel more connected to your purpose? Are you trying to connect more deeply to like a seer or healer capacity, or are those two things somehow aligned as well? That priestess part makes me feel that thing where you have a little more control here than you think. You have kind of like the command and voice to call things in. I think it's like using this pause time to get really clear. Yeah, okay, let's look at more cards. Birth mystery. What are you being called to create? Yeah, definitely like something is I think you've been incubating something for a very long time. Or seemingly, at least to you, it feels like a long time, but something's coming together. And whatever's incubating and coming together is mingling very deeply with purpose. And it's very healing, and it's getting ready to birth. So my sense is like, even if you get a no here, this is saying that the reason you would get a no is because of this new, very purposeful thing that is about to come out of you, like a creation kind of impulse. It doesn't have to be creative in the traditional sense, but like something you're about to create is like coming together in you. So just enjoy this kind of energy, because that's helping you. It's helping the incubation process. Okay, let's get some tarot confirmation cards. We've got Messenger of Intuition. Yeah, you're not going to stay in this mode, this feeling of waiting or stagnancy for long. That flow and that change is like right on the horizon. Could even be the day you see this or the week you see this, but I feel like it's like right here. Take action if you feel called to take action, like trust your heart, trust your instincts. Trust when you feel that sense of flow where it wants to move you. Don't cling to stagnancy. I don't get the impression that you would, but as things flow, move with that flow. Open and be receptive to messages and calls to action also that come in for you. Okay, let's get one for the end call. Ooh. Tethered one. Yeah, I mean, you are needing to still see a few things in a different light, which could require you to let go of certain energies, certain perspectives. There's a different way you need to see something that's more through heart versus mind. And so like, honestly, like really tune into how this woman feels here that's like surrender, let go, float, tap into your heart, tap into your dreams, because something is starting to come into clarity here. And it is really tied into purpose. for you, but it's just like you need to kind of like let go into allowing your heart to give you wisdom versus trying to figure things out with your mind. And then we've got the 8 of Courage. Again, just like we saw here, something is coming very, very quickly, and it does feel exciting. It feels exciting. It feels like it's going to broaden your life. It feels like it's connected to something you've been pondering, thinking about, working on, trying to understand for a long time. But that incubation is just like, it is so almost done. And something's coming in very, very quickly and very excitedly. And I think it's going to feel really thrilling to you, really fated and destined and exciting and beautiful and magical and all those things, whatever other adjectives you want to put in there for yourself. Yeah, so my sense is that, like, don't fret. If you end up with a no here, don't fret, because this may be talking about something that isn't your question, but that is coming in and that would, affect you getting a yes to your question. Or your question may feel very resonant to what's going on here. And if you get a yes, it's just connected to all this. So let's move into that part now of the reading where we actually get your answer to your question. And if you've been to these readings in the last few weeks, you sort of know the drill. But for those of you that are new, the way I like to get answers to yes, no's for collectives is to give some options, some variety of outcome possible, just because, when there's a lot of people in one place, I just feel like there's different outcomes that should be possible, and that you guys are all going to have. I'm really feeling this card. Eee. So I'm going to pull 3 different cards for 3 piles. I'm going to give you some quiet time once I've done that to tune into them and feel into which pile is drawing you in that has your actual message. After I've given you that time, we will start with pile 1 and go on through. And I will roll a 12-sided dice, 1 through 5, no, 6 and 7, maybe, 8 through 12, yes. And then we will flip your card and get some insight into your answer. Okay, I'm going to give you 10 seconds of silence to kind of tune into these. Okay, if you need more time, feel free to pause here. Otherwise, we will jump in and get the answer for pile 1. So roll your dice. And 12, and I do see the dice as a spectrum, so 12 is like a hell yes. The biggest yes you can get, which is great, and sunshine. So I feel like that first half of the reading, the first part of the reading, is very much so connected to something that is like your day in the sun, your creation, your creative source energy coming alive, something about your purpose really finding its clarity and its impulse, and just that feeling that energy and drive to move on something, or something coming into your life that just gives you a lot of joy. Okay, pile 2, let's roll your dice. And you guys have a 9, so that's also a yes for you guys. And you have nourishment, beautiful. So in this waiting phase until you do get your yes, do anything to tend to self-care or things that you feel might nourish what you've asked about. Be gentle, soft, easy, receptive. Okay, pile 3, let's get your answer. 4, so you guys have a no. So those who are drawn to this pile, the first part of the reading, my sense is like may not have felt like it connected at all to what you were asking about, but what you are seeing is something that's about to happen that will affect this question no longer being valid. Like, I think whatever is about to come in and birth in your life will be 10 times better than what you're asking about, and you just won't even care about this question anymore. And stillness. So this is tapping into that lady, that card that talked about stagnancy, but that also felt really positive and beautiful to me, where she was just like floating. Just be still, just enjoy the process of being where you are, taking in life in that stillness, because it's not going to stay that way forever. So just enjoy these last moments of that, because something is happening that is beautiful, something new. Okay, that is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope it brought you some insight to what you asked about. I always appreciate support. If this resonated, likes and shares and subscribes. Of course, kind and thoughtful comments are great as well. And yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are, and I will see you in future readings. Hello, beautiful pile 2. Welcome to your Friday insight reading. We're going to get some yes, no, maybe answers for a question you have brought here. And you guys picked this beautiful Lemurian quartz. It is one of my favorites. You've probably seen me use it before. Okay, so before we get into your cards, I love to tap into intuitive hits that came as I was preparing your pile. And I felt such an elated excitement, but an excitement like you're waiting for something. And you're eager and almost on the verge of like an anxiety. And I felt like a really, really deep need to ground myself. So you may need to do some grounding. I get the sense that whatever you've asked about is something you feel very excited about and anticipatory about. And for a lot of you, maybe somewhat already confident or hopeful about. We'll get your actual answers in the second part of the reading, but that in itself made me feel like something positive is coming of whatever you asked about. Even if you end up with a no, it's like something good is still on the precipice, even if it's not exactly as you imagined. But I'm a little ahead of myself. Let's get into some cards. Okay, and I'm going to use in this week's yes, no, maybe I'm using the water cards that tap into the water element to kind of bring some insight. So the first half of this reading, we're just getting some energy around your question, insight into your questions. So the first card is the rainbow, sweet relief, new beginnings, a new way forward. And rainbow to me is always just like a very magnetic, like it's a kind of quality around something that really draws attention, really garners attention. So I don't know if that connects to what you've asked about or that's sort of the energy you're starting to take on. But whatever this new beginning is, it will feel like sweet relief. I feel like we've picked up on that already in the intuitive sense that was already coming through. So I do feel this excitement, but I do still feel like you may need to do some grounding. Be rainbowy, let that be beautiful. But when you feel just kind of like that anxiety of not feeling like your feet are touching the ground, kind of overwhelming any sense of beauty and color in you, ground back down for a minute. Okay, let's see what else we've got. The Healing Lagoon, beautiful. Rejuvenate, recovery, time to heal. It's safe to stop. I feel like this is where you have been. Yeah. It's interesting. I think there's kind of a thread in this week's readings so far. This feels definitely different than pile one, but there are a few threads that are similar. Some universal things may be happening. But yeah, I think you've been in a moment of sort of short or long. For some of you, this may have been a long time that you've kind of been rejuvenating. For some of you, it's been a short stop of needing that. And I don't know why this is catching my attention. It's safe to stop. Even though I feel like you're kind of completing that, I feel like some of you need to hear that like nothing passed you by. Don't feel anxious about how long you've been stopped, whatever that means to you. Nothing passed you by. That's what you were meant to do. That's what was meant to happen in your life, was the stop. Okay, let's look at this last water card, Lady of the Lake. New beginnings, something is about to happen. New beginnings, sweet relief, something is about to happen. So that further picks up on that this is very close. You're on the precipice of something about to begin, about to come into your life. Okay, let's get some tarot confirmation cards around this. Six of Courage. Beautiful. I'm going to get them all out and then we'll go through them. Teacher of Courage. Yeah, this is some high octane energy. And then Six of Freedom. Beautiful. You're moving on from something. That is further insight here. You are moving on from something. It's time to go your own way in something, to leave. If there's something in your life that has felt rocky and stormy and has sort of clouded your ability to be who you feel like you are moving on from this. Moving on can be a difficult process, but I think there's also, this isn't like a moving on that's going to happen to you. It's like one where you make the choice, you know it's time, you know it's the right thing. So there's also kind of this relief that comes in, which that was somewhere like relief, sweet relief, yeah. So kind of a relief. There can still be grief. That's fine to mourn certain things. It's fine to have memories, both positive and negative. But you've been healing from whatever was hard and stormy about it. I feel like, yeah, like you've already been in the pause. You're already crossing out of that storminess towards a new shore, but you're waiting to see that new horizon. You know it's close. That's what it feels like. Yeah, it's like people on a ship. They've left somewhere that was stormy, that was difficult. They're going to a new shore, one they've never been to, and you know that the shoreline is close, and you have hopes and dreams and anticipation, fear, excitement, but it is all new. No matter what happens, no matter what you encounter there, it's new, and something about it will be more calm. You have had some victories too. It could be victory in the sense that you're even moving forward. That may be the victory, or you may be coming off of some kind of win and on to the next thing. Whatever makes sense to you. I get the impression for most of you that it's kind of like a victory that you're able to move, change something, do something different, new. And then we've got this Teacher of Courage up at the top. Yeah, you have a real sage quality in terms of like creativity or lifestyle, or just the way you kind of like express and move in life is what I feel. but maybe it was like under a lot of pressure in an old cycle and kind of like unable to tap into its wisdom, really utilize it. To me, there's something you have a deep capability in, a real strength and authority in, that was not utilized correctly. And it really wore you down. It really wore the energy, some kind of energy got worn down because you were kind of boxed in and unable to really express in the way you know you could or should or something. And so that got a little bit cranky. It got a little bit, the sensation that's coming to me is like when you're crammed in a car with a bunch of people and it's not like a quick ride. It takes an hour to get somewhere and you're like cramped up somewhere and feeling really boxed in. And then when you get out of the car, it's just like, oh, finally, I'm free to move. That's my sense here about something that you have a lot of strength and command and wisdom in, and a lot to share with people. It got cramped. And so you're healing that cramping. It's like, I'm feeling maybe you need some massages, which actually might ground you to kind of, loosen and let your teacher archetype or your sage archetype kind of come through. But it's like clear sailing. Really beautiful stuff coming through here. So if you get a yes, it's probably very connected. Like what I've said so far probably very much so resonates with the question you brought. If you get a no, it might just be that something slightly different is coming in, but in the same genre of what you've asked about. Or it could be that none of this made sense to you in regards to your question, but it might make sense to you in regard to your life in general or some other aspect of your life. And what's happening here will impact what you've asked about to the degree that like it's no longer kind of like a valid question. So that's just my sense of the yes, no, maybe part, which we are going to move into next. That's sort of like something that popped into my head, so I thought I would share it even before we get to that part. So no matter what your answer is, like there's really gorgeous stuff coming in. Okay, so those of you that have been coming to my yes, no, maybes the last few weeks have noticed how I've switched it up, but I will share this process with anyone new. I love to have different possible outcomes when it's a collective reading. So I am going to pick 3 piles. And once all 3 piles are out, I'm going to give you 10 seconds of silence to tune into them and pick which pile seems to be drawing you in. We will then start with pile 1 and go right on through very quickly, rolling a 12-sided dice. 1 through 5 would be no, 6 and 7 maybe, 8 through 12 yes. And then we will flip your pile's card and get some insight into whatever answer you got. Okay, so I will give you 10 seconds now to tune into whichever pile is drawing you in that would have your answer. Okay, if you need more time, feel free to pause here. Otherwise, I will start with pile 1. Let's roll your dice. And 10 is a yes for you guys. And I just got the sense of very clear, I don't know why it's not really connected to, because I do see the dice as a spectrum, whereas like 12 is the greatest yes and 8 is like, yeah, kind of yes. I think we're going in a good direction. So 10's kind of like in the center there, but I got this thing that came in, just another like intuitive hit that was like, something's very clear here. It's like a clear yes. I would take however that resonates for you. Gift, beautiful. So this could mean that getting a yes means a gift. Someone is going to be giving you a gift. Getting a yes may be that like you're finally able to use certain gifts you have, or that you've developed certain gifts, but stay open and receptive, because even if it's that latter one, you may be receiving something too. Okay, pile 2, let's roll the dice for you. Ooh, hardcore no with a 1 for you guys. I always feel, though, paradoxically, even though the 1 is the hardest no, it is a very positive vibration number, and it always makes me feel that something new is coming in. Despite getting a no to what you asked about, something new is coming in, and we saw that already in the first part of the reading, so that aligns with that sense I tend to get here. So something new is happening that is exciting and that will kind of move your attention to it and away from whatever you asked. I feel that whatever you asked doesn't really hold a candle to what's coming in. I think it's going to be very exciting, very refreshing, very a needed kind of change, and it may be surprising. You know, the 1 energy, it's magnetic, it's attracting something new in, and so it could surprise you too. Okay, let's see what your card says. Wonderment. Yeah, keep an open mind, stay open, try to stay very positive about life right now, because that will enhance that magnetic quality of the one that really attracts things in. Just try to notice life around you in like a childlike enthusiasm, and just be open, because something very different is coming, and will kind of void out whatever you've asked about. Okay, pile 3, let's roll the dice for you now. And you guys have a 9, so that's a yes for you. And your card is authenticity. I love seeing that. I felt that already in the first part of the reading. Really tuning back into what I was saying about like some aspect of you was feeling cramped in some way. And whatever this new thing is coming in that is about to initiate into your life will really make you feel a sense of greater freedom and a greater connection to who you are. So that's lovely to see. Beautiful, beautiful answers. Even pile 2, I still feel a lot of beauty there. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope it gave you some insight into whatever you asked about. If so, I always am appreciative of support with likes and shares and subscribes, and of course with kind and thoughtful comments. Those are great as well. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are, and I hope to see you in more readings. All right. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your Friday Insight, where we are going to get answers to your yes, no, maybe questions. In the first part of the reading, we are going to be exploring just sort of some insight into an energy around your question or things that may be impacting your question. The stone you picked, this is the Smoky Quartz. That's your guys' pile. So before jumping into the cards, I always love to tap into intuitive hits that came through as I was preparing things for you. And it did feel like those that were drawn to this pile may be bringing more weighty questions. Not necessarily serious. They could be serious questions, but they definitely have like a weight to them. Whether or not they're serious questions. Not that any question isn't, serious, but it just felt like, just weightier questions. That said, there was some, just trying to find articulation, because sometimes the hits that come for me are very like sensation oriented. And I try to find some way to like bring an analogy to what those are. It was like, there's beautiful energy here. I would say that, but maybe some frustration at the same time. I get the sense that there's an open mind in this pile, like you're seeking some answers, you have an open mind. And because of that, that naturally brings in some positive, clear energy. Like there's a curiosity and open-mindedness here. And I think that's great for something that is a weightier question. So yeah, let's dive into your cards though and see what else we can pick up. Okay, so the Mist. Trust your inner compass. Be led from within. The Mist to me often represents struggling to find some clarity though. So there may just be that open mind that I'm sensing, may be you kind of really needing to tune inward and even find what your inner compass, like find the voice of your inner compass even. Like I get the sense that this woman is kind of wandering around in the mist trying to find that line to the inner compass, which feels like this light. So I feel like you're standing right in line with that inner compass. You may be downloading things about that right now, but I think this is going to clear up for you pretty quickly. And when you do feel that kind of clarity, that inner clarity, trust it. Lead from within here. Don't use your mind too much, external things too much. Okay, what else do we have? Thank you. Gratitude, appreciation, appreciating what's sustaining you. I think anytime we turn to gratitude, we just make things more positive. But I'm also noticing how she's very open-hearted. So even beyond open-minded, there's like an open-heartedness here. And I think that is exactly where to be standing. An open-heartedness and a gratitude, I think, will help you tune into that channel of your inner compass. Finally kind of hear it. I honestly feel like you're actually standing right in alignment with that inner compass, but you're struggling to know that you are, or believe that you are, or trust it. But there's something about like opening your heart, finding some gratitude that helps you feel that frequency is like, oh, I am correct. I am right in line with that inner compass. I just needed to kind of like open my heart to, with it, like thank yous and gratitudes and appreciation. And it's like that helped me tune right into that frequency and know that that's what that is. Okay. Let it rain, allowing what is, inevitability, trust. So part of what you're asking about, you may not have a ton of control over, even though this is asking you to trust your inner compass. This inevitability and allowing what is definitely feels, like some heaviness is waiting to come off of you and out of you. Maybe that's what it is like opening up to that gratitude and appreciation energy gets you in touch with a deeper knowing of your inner compass and your alignment. And through that, you kind of allow yourself to kind of release some things. And trust yourself to let some things out, whether it's like a purging of emotions or letting some things out of your life that are becoming too heavy. And that's that weightedness I felt. I think there are some weighted things you need to just sort of let go. The inevitability is like, that's the only thing left to do is to let go of something here. And I think you're right there. That sense I got of like that open-mindedness, which I think is about to lead you to the open-heartedness, is just this knowing you already have that you're at the edge of it, of whatever, of something, and there's nothing left to do but let go. Let some heaviness out of you. Let the weight of something just go. It's no longer meant for you to hold, is what I'm feeling. Let's get some tarot confirmation cards. So 10 of intuition. This is like a rainbow of blues and greens. Yeah, your intuition is on point, and tapping back into trusting that. Once you do feel like you are in alignment with that inner compass, just completely meld with it, completely honor it and trust it. It is helping to compose things in a situation that's complicated, complex, and messy. It takes composer energy to step into complexity and know exactly how to let certain things go, bring certain things together, and create flow and harmony and inspiration. But that's what will happen if you trust your inner compass. Once you feel you've connected to it, it will lead to harmonious lightening up and orchestration and flow. 6 of gratitude. I love that in conjunction with the thank you, gratitude, appreciation. So I think whatever you're asking about, anything that you can feel grateful for, even if like you're not in a great situation, maybe you can still be like, but I'm grateful for my health, or I'm grateful for what I've learned, or I'm grateful for this other part of my life that is, great in comparison, or whatever it is that comes to mind. By putting that gratitude out, you're going to be receiving back. That's how you receive back in whatever you're asking about, is to put your own gratitude forward. Opening your heart up puts you into that more receptive mode as well. And you will receive something here. Okay, last we have 1 of courage. So something new is coming in. But I think you need to purge first. You need to let some weight out of your life, some heaviness out of your life, move on from certain things. But don't rush that. Let that wash through you. Take your time with that. Find that surrender, be in the surrender. And then once things start to feel like they're flowing, a new composition is starting to happen, new inspiration coming, things are starting to be received, that's sort of like the clue that something big and new is about to start for you. But currently my sense is like there's not room for it. It's trying to come in. It's already trying to circle you and enter your life, but it's like there's too much weight. You're carrying too much weight. There's not room. So if you can let go of certain things, open up, be open to receiving, after a sense of gratitude. Not out of a sense of like, I deserve this, I'm owed this, this is what's fair. It's beyond that. This receiving is coming directly from you feeling gratitude for certain things. Yeah, so this is sort of the flow of it, is like opening up. I feel like this is first like opening up, gratitude, and then feeling like some new kind of flow is coming in, some new things being received into your life, which helps you to feel that frequency of your inner compass and really trust it and how it directs you, which is bringing a new composition, new flow, and allowing you to let go of certain things, which then creates space for this new beginning. So my sense here, before we move on to the second part of the reading, which is getting your actual yes, no's, and maybes, is that no matter what you get, there is a process going on here. So even if this doesn't feel resonant with what you asked about, there's something else going on in your life that's affecting it, that connects to what we've talked about. Getting the yes, I feel like would be tapping into some of the positive things we've seen here, like the new start, or feeling flow coming again, feeling an understanding of that. Gratitude as an energy that attracts, receptive, attracts things into you. Yeah. And then if it's a no, it's just like this, the work that's needing to be done here is clouding whatever you asked about. So let's get into that though. Let's find your answers for you. I am going to pick 3 different piles. When it's a collective reading, I love for there to be multiple possible outcomes. So I'm going to pick 3 piles. I will, once they are out, give you 10 seconds to tune into these piles and feel which one is drawing you in, which would mean that one has your most aligned answer. So after that 10 seconds and you've picked your pile, I will be starting with pile 1 and going on down the line and rolling a 12-sided dice where 1 through 5 is no, 6 and 7 maybe, and 8 through 12 a yes. And then we will flip your card to get some guidance and insight into the answer that came. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 seconds to tune into the piles now. Okay, if you need more time, feel free to pause here. Otherwise, we will start with pile 1. Let's roll the dice for you guys. 5, so there's a likely no here. I do see the dice as a spectrum, so 5 is the closest one to a maybe in terms of getting a no, but it is still a no. But my sense here is like you're on the cusp of understanding things differently. Maybe this reading will help you to understand something differently, that will push you to do some work and then maybe come back with a different question or a very different perspective about what you asked about, or maybe drop the question. And then, goddamn, this feels like that let it rain thing, like you're needing to let some things go. And that may require you to lock yourself in a room where you're not going to direct this at anybody else except for just the atmosphere, and scream a little bit and throw a pity party and stomp your feet, but like get whatever emotion is in you out to help you release some things and help you to drop into the allowing of some surrender and release of things from your life. I do feel like you guys might need to just throw a little bit of a tantrum, but just, to the atmosphere, not with anyone present. Purge some emotion you're feeling. Okay, pile 2, let's roll your dice. 12, so that's a very big yes. That's the highest yes on the dice. So my sense is that you are maybe already going through some of this work. And this is like a reading sort of saying you're on the right track, you're doing things beautifully, whatever you asked about is more connected to that new beginning, I sense, coming in, or if there's something really specific that you identified in the reading, it's, kind of confirming for you that that's right on for you. But I do feel a lot of you, that new beginning is like maybe connected to your yes, or your question. So the compass, and this is confirming also that you are very much so in touch with your inner compass, and it's steering you correctly, and you're going through the steps and the processes and the work you're needing to do right now, and you're really close to the other side. Okay, pile 3, let's get your answer. I'll roll your dice. 11, so another really beautiful yes. Wisdom. I think whatever you're asking about and whatever we talked about in the first part of the reading, you've learned a lot. Having gone through what you've gone through, I think you're at that stage of like really getting that it taught you a lot about yourself and life, and you're looking at it with gratitude because it gave you certain wisdom. both for your own life and to share with others. That teacher's coming through for you guys deeply. So this may be a question that more about sharing things with others or your purpose or something, and this would be saying that you've gained a lot of wisdom through this question that you do have to share. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope that this reading was helpful and insightful for whatever questions you brought here. If so, I always appreciate support with likes and shares and subscribes. Definitely always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. And I hope to see you in future readings. All right, see you guys. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your Friday Insight, where we will get answers to your yes, no, maybe questions. So before we jump into the first part of your reading, which is going to be looking into some insight around your question or energy underlying your question, things going on that may be affecting your question, all sorts of whatever comes up. We'll just see what comes up. So before we get into that part of the reading, I always love to tap into intuitive hits that came through as I was preparing your pile. So for you guys, I felt a time crunch. I don't know if you're under the gun with something, if you're anticipating something happening very soon, if you're feeling like time sensitive about things, or you don't have enough time. Something like that, and it's feeling a little bit like frenetic. At the same time, I do underlying that feel some very positive, beautiful energy. So I would just accept, like, what did I even say there? See, I'm feeling that still. I don't even know what word I was trying to say there. I would suggest taking some breaths. If you're having to hold your breath when you're doing things, stop, ground, breathe, holding your breath. For some reason, that message is coming through. Holding your breath won't help things or isn't healthy, something like that. I don't know. Let's get into your cards. Okay, we've got King Tide. Oh, this card just came out earlier today for something else. Plenty, prosperity, receiving the fullness of life. This is a very powerful card. This is a card that a king tide is like the biggest tide of, we might have one or two a year of king tides. So spring tides happen twice a month at the new and full moon. The gravity that is affecting the waters on Earth kind of draw them up, and we get what's called spring tides, which are the highest high tides in the month. But a king tide happens when we're at the new or full moon, which gives us the high tide, but the moon is also in its closest proximity of its orbit to Earth. So that alignment of being in that spot at the same time as a new or full moon brings a king tide, and it's really bringing in a wave of things, you know, like things you've already put out into the world are coming back to you like tenfold with this one. Like you're really needing to get into a receptive mode and to feel the power. Just like close your eyes and imagine, I'm sure you've all seen like videos of those massive waves that like big wave surfers are on, you know, sometimes go on, or like a couple times a year there's spots in the earth. I know like Portugal has one area that has these just massive waves that come in, and just the power of it is so overwhelming but exciting and like exhilarating. And I feel that like you need to get into that receptive mode to feel the power of what's coming in, because it's a response to things you've already put out. So really good. And I get now that sort of like anticipation or like timing thing, like it's gonna come any second, am I ready for it kind of thing, like is it gonna be too much, is it coming, is it, you know, like Or am I ready? Like, I know it's coming. Am I ready? That kind of thing. And then bounteous, generously given, relationships coming together. Wow. This is very abundant energy. Very abundant energy. I feel like, if some form of abundance, and abundance doesn't have to be a financial thing, it can be abundance of positivity, of friendship, of whatever, and it may connect to what you've asked about. I think when you have more than you can receive, do your part in being generous. When you have more than you need, by being generous, you're just creating more and more of that king tide energy, and you'll get more of that even coming in, because you're putting out, right? So yeah. And then the wellspring. What are you thirsty for? Body care. Take a breath. You can't make that up. I said take a breath, right? Like, you need to breathe better right now. But here she's kind of like resting. There's something about nourishing your body here to get ready for what's about to come in. Prepare yourself well. Try to ground, and it might be that thing of like ground and breathe. It may not necessarily be like this intense self-care you need, but like you need to remember to ground and breathe to kind of calm your energy. It feels very, whatever's happening around your question feels very exciting. My sense here, well, let's do the tarot before I say what I was about to say. So we're going to get a few confirmation cards. The Empress, you guys. Fertility, creation, beauty, that feeling of deserving and receptivity. Yeah, receive what's coming in. Creator of gratitude, which is in this deck sort of like the Queen of Earth or Pentacles. Next to the bounteous, this is absolutely the cards, spirit, whatever is here, maybe your ancestors, I don't know, something, the water element asking you to be generous, like you are ending up with more than you need. And as sort of like a creator and an authority, you can be generous with whatever you end up as having as bounteous. I get hostess energy here too. Maybe host something. I don't know. And then teacher of freedom, which would align in a traditional tarot with King of Swords. Coming next to wellspring. Take a breath. I think you have this natural sort of strength and command of intellect, but sometimes when you're ungrounded, it can put you into more spinny energy, and sort of take you out of your command. And this is why this is coming in, to breathe, ground, especially calm your mind here is what I'm feeling, because you do have this intelligence and this command that is part of what's happening here that needs to be present. And if you're all riled up and too anticipatory and too excited, it just kind of untethers you and dissipates certain things that could be coming in. But man, you have an Empress, a creator, and a teacher. That's like, I don't know, you guys, whoever you are, whatever questions you brought here, these are huge. These are really, really, sorry, this notification came up on my camera that I need to get off before I continue. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I cut myself off there. I think I said what I needed to say. Let's move on to the second part of the reading, which is getting your actual yes, no, maybes. But my sense here And I just love even the images and the colors coming up. It's just like, just trust in the beauty of what is here, what's coming. So my sense is, if you were to get a no, it's because whatever is coming isn't maybe exactly how you are envisioning it, or whatever is about to come in is like a side thing. It's maybe not directly related to your question, but it's going to impact your life in as such that it would change the energy of what you've asked about and making it not quite aligned, right? But the thing to focus on here is like something huge is about to come in. That's the thing. Okay, so let's move into that part of the reading where we get your answers. And if you have been here in the last few weeks, I've changed how I do these up just a little bit, where I, with a collective reading, love the idea that there could be multiple potential outcomes. So I am picking 3 piles within this pile. Once all 3 are out, I'll give you like 10 seconds or so of quiet time to meditate on those and feel which one has your answer, which one's drawing you in. At that point, we'll start with the first pile and go on through, where I will roll a 12-sided dice. 1 through 5 is no, 6 and 7 maybe, 8 through 12 yes, and then we'll flip your card over to get insight into the answer you got. Okay, so I will give you that 10 seconds now. Okay, if you need further time, you can pause here when you are ready. We'll start with pile 1. And I just have to say, when I said I'll give you 10 seconds now, at that point when I said now and kind of stopped, the timer on this particular pile said 11:11, which is like, talk about a king tide. Okay, so pile 1, let's roll your dice. 10, beautiful. So that's a yes for you guys. Let's see what your card says. Intention. That feels like very much so that teacher of freedom coming in, or the King of Swords, where there is an intellectual capacity here. So ground yourself, get really clear about certain things, about your energy, your intention. Something about that is going to really help whatever's coming in, whatever this yes is, to be very clear. Okay, pile 2, let's roll the dice for you guys. 7 is a maybe, and so 6 and 7 are maybe, so 7 is closer to the yes, but there may just be some timing, maybe something that is coming in with this big king tide is going to shift some energies, shift some things in your life that may shift certain things around whatever you asked about. So it's hard to give a clear yes, but I would say it's like looking good, but there's still some things, some variables as the king tide come in that could shift here. So your card says purity. My sense is like you need to wait for whatever is coming in to come in, which is going to settle something about your question and make it a little bit more pure and clear. There's a lot of clarity energy coming in here. Whatever you do end up getting, once this king tide comes in, my sense is it will be more purely aligned with you. So even if this doesn't work out, whatever you've asked about, like you're being aligned to a more pure, authentic energy. and something more pure will happen. If you do get a yes, it's just like some timing to make things more pure and clear. Okay, pile 3, let's get your answer. We'll roll the dice. 1, so a hardcore no. So whatever you asked about may have felt like the first part of the reading was not touching on at all. But what that first part of the reading was doing was talking about certain influences that are really going to impact your life and really change things. This came up in another pile when one came up before, and it's becoming more and more clear to me as I do this format in the reading that like when one comes up, even though it's the most hardcore no, it also to me holds that really magnetic, pure energy of something new coming in, something very different, something new. So whatever this king tide is very magnetic for you. It is the change you've been waiting for. It is something beautiful. It's just not what you asked about. But it is going to very quickly garner your attention to it versus what you've asked about. You will be turning your head away from whatever this is and towards what's coming in with like pure, clear, focused intention, pure intention. It's interesting, sometimes these cards bring messages to each other's piles. But yeah, something different. That king tide coming in is just really going to turn your head to focus on something very, very different from what you've asked. But let's see what your card says. Me time. Yeah, take some space for yourself, ground, breathe, take care of you, get ready for the king tide. The more you're connected to your own center, your own energy, the more clear things are when they come in, and the more you kind of attract in clear, pure, intent ideas or energies or experiences or events, whatever it is. So get back to your center, your clarity, your breath, your grounding. This is going to help you to notice this king tide and really just change your focus to whatever that ends up being for you. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this was insightful. I hope it was helpful for whatever questions you guys brought here. If so, I always appreciate support with likes and shares and subscribes, and of course with kind and thoughtful comments as well. And yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are, and I hope to see you in future readings.